Hello everybody, welcome to the Redmen TV. I'm Bailey Shaw. My third instalment now of the Starting 11 show. I did Burnley, Bayern, and now I'm previewing your Starting 11 show versus Chelsea. Got a pretty good record so far, 2 wins, so hopefully we can make it a third. Chris has got a very busy day today, so I said I'd step in because I really enjoy doing this show. So yeah, here we are. It is the last of the last of our top 6 clashes of the season, and of course it's got to be Chelsea. The game after Eden Hazard somehow picks up his sort of EPL best performer merit that he sort of seems to get around this time of year, where he seems to always come into shit hot form when we have to play Chelsea, doesn't he? But oh well, I think the boys have got it in him to do it, and this is about who I think the boys are going to be that will do the job. So we'll get into the team, and first and foremost, it's got to be Alisson Becker, hasn't he? 17 clean sheets. I think he's one above Edison with 16, and Kepa is on 14. So hopefully he keeps the clean sheet this game. Kepa loses his clean sheet, drops down in his clean sheet record because we want him to win the Golden Glove, don't he? He deserves it. He's the best Brazilian goalkeeper in the league, surely. But 33 appearances, has not missed a game. 20 goals conceded in 34 games. That's not bad whatsoever. That's why he's top of his clean sheets list. This is the most impressive stat for me. You know, the shape of a modern goalkeeper is your ability to pass a ball. You know, it's not about shots. It is of course about shot stopping, but it's not just about that. It's about how you can facilitate the rest of the outfield players on the pitch. And that 98% short pass accuracy is so important to the way we play football. So, of course, Alisson Becker keeps his place. But we'll move on to the right back. It's got to be Trent, hasn't it? Another assist he picked up last game against Porto. 7 assists in the Premier League this season. Him and Robertson combined now with 16 assists, which is now the EPL's all-time record for a pair of fullbacks in the league. I think it was Hinchcliffe and Johnson, I think, in 94-95, Everton, who had 15 at the time. Trent Alexander-Arnold has been part of the duo that has broken that record. That's how good he's been this season. That's how important he is to this team. That's why he keeps his place. You know, look at this, 4.53 interceptions per game, 75.3% of his passes per 90 are accurate, and a big stat, the 7 assists. That's why he keeps his place, because he's so influential in the way we play football, and he's going to tear Chelsea apart. So Trent Alexander-Arnold keeps his place, and we'll go into centre-back now, and this is up for debate. You know, obviously Lovren came in last game against Porto. There's been arguments that it's because Matip got a knock. So I've put Matip in here personally because I think he's been really good with Van Dijk so far. I think he had to miss a game because of his slight knock. Lovren was fine. I think Lovren was fine against Porto. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Do you think Lovren should keep his place? So I've given it back to Matip because he was in really good form with Van Dijk. I think he's been sort of most reliable centre-half this season with the injuries to Gomez and Lovren. So I think he deserves to keep his place if he's fit. You know, 89.6% of his passes per 90 are accurate. You saw his absolutely marauder and run against Southampton. He's a really interesting centre-half, and I've really grown to love Joel Matip as a football player. 64.8% of his aerial duels per 90 are accurate. He's an absolute spider, isn't he? Like, you don't expect him to miss a header, apart from when it's in front of the opposition goal, because for some reason he hasn't clocked on how to use his head heading it into a net yet, apart from maybe his own net. But anyway, Big Joel keeps his place alongside the 3-1 Sky Bet PFA Player of the Year. He is the favourite to be the PFA Player of the Year. I think second's Raheem Sterling with 11-2. I'm not sponsored by Sky or anything. I just like to know the odds on these players because he's been that good. So, of course, Virgil van Dijk, like Alisson, keeps his place, has not missed a game this season because those two have been so instrumental in keeping Liverpool solid at the back. These are some orgasmic stats, so I'll take you through them now. 92% passes per 90 are accurate. He makes 71.31. That's the instrumental part of his game, apart from being the massive colossus, cutting out any nonsense from opposition attackers. That ability to pass, again, it's a new dimension of a fullback. The same way with the goalkeeper, you need the ability to be able to facilitate the rest of the players around you, and Virgil van Dijk does that better than sort of any of the players on the pitch at sometimes. 5.86 interceptions per 90, phenomenal stuff. You know, nobody's been past him. Over a year and a half, nobody's gotten past this man, and I don't think it's going to change at the weekend. Hazard's in good form, not in good enough form to beat Van Dijk for me. But we'll move on, and of course, as I was saying earlier, the second compatriot to Trent Alexander-Arnold in making up this record-breaking fullback partnership is Andrew Robertson. 31 appearances this season. He's so important. Obviously, missed the game against Porto because of suspension, so hopefully he'll be It's funny saying a fully fit and firing Andrew Robertson, because he gives his all every single game. But that little bit of rest, hopefully we'll get that extra 5% out of Robertson that could be so crucial in beating Chelsea. Look at these stats: 64.02 joules, defensive joules per 90, 4.18 crosses per 90.
I've got a feeling that defensive joules is not right. That's passes per 90. He's not making 64 defensive joules per 90. That's my fault.
Well,
carry on.
If you've ever seen any of my starting 11s before, you'll know it's a running theme for Tom to sabotage me some way, shape or form. So I'm glad you keep it a tradition, Tom. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because we all know Andy Robertson's game, and that is being solid defensively and being instrumental going forward. You know, Milner had a really good game against Porto. I thought he was solid, but he's not Andrew Robertson, is he? You know, having that sheer electricism to get up and down, constantly playing 1-2s with Mane, constantly giving the opposition centre-half and full-back something to think about. You know, you're not just marking Mane on that left side. You're marking Robertson coming on the overlap. You're marking your midfielder coming on the inside. He's such a handful for any centre-half and full-back to deal with. So, of course, Andrew Robertson keeps his place. But we'll move into the midfield. This like Liverpool across the season this year. It's been up for debate. Who do you rotate in? Who gets the place over other people? One man that I think is a mainstay every single time we play is Firmino. I think he does everything fantastically. He showed again against Porto why he was worth the money, why we bought him. Because look at some of these stats. 87.7% of his passes per 90 are accurate. He can pass fantastically. 56.5% of his long passes per 90, he can pass long very accurately. Defensive joules per 90, he makes 7.04. That's why we bought him in for that 6. Because, you know, I was talking about it the other day. Emre Can, he's replaced Emre Can, and I don't really remember him. You know, I don't miss Emre Can whatsoever, because we've replaced him with a guy that's on his way to being a genuine world-class contention central defensive midfielder. And it's all down to the way he plays. And I think when we credit Alisson, we credit Van Dijk, I don't think we can miss Fabinho off that list for how instrumental and how important he's been to the title challenge we've been on this year. So Fabinho keeps his place. Alongside him is Jordan Henderson. So I think Jordan Henderson's been a very, very good the last pass. Obviously, when he comes off the bench against Southampton, starts the game against Porto. This reformed sort of attacking forward role for Jordan Henderson really, really suits his game. You know, he's had a hard time, I think, this season for the past year and a half with Liverpool fans specifically. He's just being a bit average. What does he offer the team? If you put him in the 6, why isn't Fabinho there? He offers more. I think he's found his footing in a crucial time of this season where he's offering so much more dynamism going forward. Something we haven't seen from Jordan Henderson since sort of 13-14. Like this is so crucial for a midfielder. 69.92 passes per 90. You probably say it's forwards, backwards. Not recently. That beautiful pass that he plays into Trent Alexander-Arnold for the assist. That's all Jordan Henderson. And I think that a part of his game that gets slept on also is that 5.13 interceptions per 90. He still plays the 6 very well. He's not going to lose that defensive nous that he's garnered over this last year and a half in that position. He gets that and then gets let off the leash a bit higher up the pitch. So I think Jordan Henderson's done enough to earn himself a start against Chelsea. So let me know what you guys think below. We'll get into the last midfielder, and then you can tell me whether you agree with it or not. I think it's got to be Gini. I mean, there is arguments for Keita. Obviously, he's got 2 goals in 2 games. You've got to argue why have you done that, and I'll tell you why. I think Gini, outside of the last 5 or 6 weeks, has been the most reliable midfielder for us. He's been all over the pitch, covering so much grass, and he hasn't really had a break at all. He hasn't been injured. He's played every single international break. The guy has looked tired, but he's had his rest against Porto. So I think this Gini Wijnaldum is going to come back a lot fitter. We'll see a lot more of the classic Gini Wijnaldum from the start of the season again. And I think that what this midfield offers is it's malleable. So that you field this midfield, you see what Chelsea are going to do, you see how they're going to line up, how can this midfield deal with it? And all 3 of these players do things really well in their own right. And I think that they have the experience to deal with whatever Chelsea throws at them. And then say, you need a creative spark up front. Then you take one of these midfield 3 off for a Naby Keita. But I think initially, Gini Wijnaldum's got to keep his place in the team. 92.5% passes per 90 are accurate, 1.79 dribbles per 90, and 3.1 interceptions per 90. This is what I mean. I think Gini Wijnaldum he's become sort of the James Milner sort of the role. He's become the new Mr. Reliable. And I think now he's refreshed, now he's had a game off, I think we'll see Gini back in the team. But we'll move into the forwards now. And who else is it going to be? Mo Salah, of course, keeps his place. You're never going to drop this guy, even if he does go through a strange run of form. But 18 goals, 7 assists, says it all. Coming up against his old club, one of his previous clubs, Chelsea, he's going to have a point to prove, I think, and he knows that at the business end of the season, we are really going to rely on him. And I think he had a really good game against Porto. Obviously, he's got unlucky with missing with the chance that he got. Obviously, he puts it just past the post, but he's ever so close to breaking sort of into that form that he was in last season. And I think, personally, I think he'll score against Chelsea. You know, I called the Van Dijk goal against Bayern Munich. If I was going to put money on someone, it'd be Mo Salah scoring against Chelsea. So you heard it here first. But yeah, like I said, this front three picks itself. But in the nature of the show, we're going to go through it anyway. And of course, to accompany Mo Salah, it is Sadio Mane. You know, the guy that is in the form of his life right now, having the best season he's ever had so far in the Premier League. 17 goals. He's rivaling Mo Salah for that Golden Boot award. 65.8% of his dribbles per 90 are accurate. Makes 10.63 offensive duels per 90. And that's what I love about Sadio Mane. He's not a winger there just to occupy space, sit there, sort of almost like what Daniel Sturridge does. No offence to the guy, but sit there and say, give me the ball. And that's what I'm here for. Just give me the ball and I'll score. He's all over that pitch. And that's why I love the interplay that he has with Andrew Robertson, is that they can basically both switch positions. He's a very good defensive player, and he lets Robertson go up, and the roles reverse. And that's why I love the chemistry that we've got in certain aspects of our team this season. So, of course, Sadio Mane keeps his place alongside the last Brazilian, Mr. Bobby Firmino. I found an interesting fact about this guy today, actually. I was watching a Match of the Day clip on Facebook. The guy that does his teeth, he was saying that there's a scale when he came in from 4 to 1, 1 being the brightest of how bright you want your teeth. And Bobby said he wanted it a step above 1. So the dentist who gave him the colour of his teeth had to create a custom white because it wasn't white enough for Bobby Firmino. It's a fun fact for you. You don't get that from Chris Pajak, do you? No. But anyway, 12 goals from Bobby Firmino this season. Again, this is another season where he's reached double figures for his goals. There's so many words you can use to describe Bobby Firmino, but the word I'm going to use is just he's utilitarian. You know, he plays a 9 role, he plays a 10 role, he drops deep when he needs to, he can go wide when he needs to. He's the glue for that front three, you know, and when Bobby's on form, everyone's on form. And just look at some of these stats. 73.5% of his dribbles per 90 are accurate. I think he's the best player at the football club with the ball at his feet. You know, he's absolutely magnificent. 2.6 shots per 90. You know, he's not afraid to have a go, and when he gets that half space, he will have a shot. And he's going to need to be fully firing against Chelsea because this is going to be such a huge game. But anyway, that's the starting 11 through the stats. But this is how I think we'll line up against against Chelsea. I think it'll be a 4-3-3. You know, we tried the 4-2-3-1 out in the middle of the season. We had good joy out of it. You know, Salah in the middle. We did have some fun with it. But I think this is the Liverpool of old. This is the Liverpool model that Jurgen Klopp has tried to implement since he came into the team. Fabinho in that 6. Wijnaldum in that 8, and sort of John Henson in the 8 role, but pushing a little bit more forward, you know, a little bit more in that freedom of the 10 role there, which I think he's played so well against Southampton and against Porto. So this is how I think the team's going to line up. Let me know what you think. Do you think Lovren deserves to take Matip's place? Do you think that Keita deserves to take the place of either Wijnaldum or Henderson? I'd love to know your thoughts, but we'll get some comments from Tom.
Jojo says Chelsea play against Prague today, so they are going to be tired.
Yeah, it's a good point. I saw it's Europa League. The Europa League's one of those bucket things where it's sort of they're either going to come out, smash Prague 7-0, not get out of second gear, or Prague will give them a really good game. But you're right, that's the benefit of the Thursday Europa League games. That's why I'm so happy we're not in them, obviously, aside from the fact the Champions League's miles better, is that it is that extra day closer to the Premier League. And I think that it really does have an influence, especially at the business end of the season now, where Chelsea need to be on the game. There's that fight from 6th to 3rd is so tight, and Chelsea really need the win here. So it'd be interesting to see what team they field tonight, you know, because they've been playing Odoi, Loftus-Cheek and Hazard at the minute. So it'd be interesting to see if they rest any of those three, sort of to give us a little teller as to whether those three are going to start against us at the weekend. But yeah, no, really good point.
Last question before we wrap up. Christy Thomas says, not Genie, Keita, he needs to start. He was awesome last game.
You make a very, very, very good point there. And I was in two minds, I think, this morning when I was thinking about the team. What's Keita got to do? What more has he got to do, you know, to get another first-team start? He's got 2 goals in 2 games. I completely get your point. My argument is, I don't know what Chelsea are going to throw at us. You know, they've come into a vein of form now where Hazard's decided to turn up again. And the thing with Keita is, as brilliant as he has been the last 2 games, he's still a little bit slow on the ball. You know, he gets caught in possession every now and then. His passes aren't quite as sharp as you'd like them to be. Whereas with this midfield, you know what you're getting from it. You know you can rely on it. And like I said earlier, if your Wijnaldum's not working out, if you need a bit more directness, a bit more dynamism coming through into that 10, that's when you put your Naby Keita on, because he's a handful, because teams haven't seen enough of Naby Keita yet to know how to mark him, how to play against him, but they know he's dangerous. So no, it's a really good point. I think that if he does play, not a problem at all. And I'd really like the fact that Klopp has put his trust into Keita to start in such a big game.
We were going to wrap up, but the XSH Tempers gave us a yellow super chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, mate.
He says, I 100% agree that Gini should start, but I think Keita should play as he is a confidence player. You always do a good job with the predictions, Bailey. Love the videos, boys. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, mate. So taking that, so I'm assuming you're keeping Fabinho. Like I say, he's a dead cert. He's the best player for that 6. So you're swapping Henderson. So okay, so that's the dilemma I came to, is that, you've got 2 players in Henderson and Keita who have both in the last sort of recent run of weeks come into a form of their own. So it's then, if you're picking between the 2, and they both offering a similar sort of thing in terms of Keita's got 2 goals in the last 2 games, Henderson's got a goal and an assist in the last 2 games, which one can you rely on more against a team like Chelsea? That's why I've gone for Henderson above Keita to start with, because I think he can do the defensive duties that I think Keita actually had a really good game against Porto, but obviously Porto aren't Chelsea. Porto haven't got an Eden Hazard in the team that Jordan Henderson knows how to play against. He's got experience against this team. So I think, personally, you've got the best of both worlds in Henderson, in that he's got a goal and an assist in the last 2 games. He's really good going forward, but then he has that defensive nous to cover when Robertson wants to push up, Trent wants to push up, and Henderson's such a passion player, and I agree with the Keita point. I think he is a confidence player as well, and I hope, because I wouldn't be bothered if he came in the team, but with Henderson, it means so much to him, and I'd love to see him get a goal, get a couple more assists towards the end of the season, and drag this team over the line. And Jordan Henderson lifts that Premier League trophy, because by God, he deserves it with the amount of stick he gets. But anyway, that's the Start 11 prediction for Chelsea. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your comments. Really enjoy doing this show, guys. I'm glad you like it. But yeah, we'll see you again next time.